Yeah, hey Ted, can I, no pun intended, right? Innovation double click. I'm going to double click into that comment. You
Yeah.
mentioned, right, all these massive Disney and L'Oreal and PepsiCo and LinkedIn. How do you handle at an early stage, technology startup, the balance between taking those signals in and then addressing them through product innovation? I don't know if it's versus or in combination or in balance with service,
Yeah.
right? Services. That's challenging, right? I mean, how do you think of that?
You know, I think it's almost like it's a maturity curve, right? Where I think you need a strong point of view around what you want your company to be and what you want your products to do, right?
Mm.
And we knew we didn't want to be, we wanted to be a SaaS platform that was self-service and not a services company. So that's the aspiration, but we're also, the scope of the product was so large that to satisfy all these things, you knew it wasn't going to get to self-service, right? In 6 months, in 12 months, there were going to be parts of it that were going to take time to build all the way to that sort of elegant self-service user experience that we wanted to deliver. But we knew that's where it was going. And so yeah, there has to be some acceptance for being willing to do a little bit of the managed service stuff, because to that PepsiCo example we were mentioning earlier, right? If you don't want to sink a bunch of calories into building the wrong thing either, right?
Right, right.
And because that can really set you back as a company. We've got these startups, we have finite resource, and so to some degree, sort of building it up, the capability up to a certain point, allowing, say, my team, right, doing some degree of managed service. Well, when they're having to do that a lot, and when that's creating friction, or where it becomes very clear this should be something that if we made it even more self-serve would allow our customers to scale, now we know exactly sort of where to go invest those calories. And so I think it's knowing where we want to go, recognizing that it's really hard when you're resource constrained to build
Right.
everything. So allowing your team to sort of augment what the product can do in its earliest iterations, and then figuring out if your team's doing that augmentation, now that needs to be the next area where we invest in enhancing the product.
Yeah, and in there, are you continually trying to, like you said, I've heard you say signals and patterns, right? Because
Yeah.
you said you don't want to build something that's not of value, so you're just trying to sense and like, hey, do I see the pattern, and I see a reoccurring pattern to give you the confidence to say, okay, yeah, this is probably product. This should probably roll into product. Am I
Yeah.
thinking about that correctly?
Oh yeah, for sure, right? And again, if it's something that we don't feel like should go that direction, then you have a decision around, how are we going to continue to support that? Should we continue to support that? But I thought one of the benefits for us of having the quality of the customer roster that we had was we had a good degree of conviction that the things they were asking for were the right and valuable areas to build, right? And
Right.
that if we just kept servicing them well, that the feedback loop we were getting from them, that there wasn't going to be a lot of incorrect signal, because again, these are the leaders in their categories, and if we're delivering value for them, we know all the other companies that aspire to be like them would benefit from the same technology.